Steamboat Gravel. I did the black course this year, which was 140 miles in Steamboat, Colorado, which is a really nice town, but it's small. So if you go there, book a room early. I can't stress this enough. Now it's super friendly to bikers on that weekend. There's a lot of things and a lot of things to buy. And I'll talk a little bit about the race now. The race starts at Steamboat Springs at an elevation of 6,600 feet, more or less, on pavement, and then it quickly turns to gravel. It's all climbing with steeps of, with gradients of 4%, 3%, and then you get to the first aid stop at 26 miles. You've climbed 1,700 feet at that point. Then you keep going up, and now you're still going on gravel all the way to the top of that climb, which is 8,000 feet roughly. You've gone to then down to the next rest stop, and then you start all gravel again, gravel and single track and all kinds of terrain I'm going to talk about later. There's like a little punchy climb again, and then you start going down to the third aid stop. At that point, you've climbed 2,700 feet of elevation, more or less. Then it's all gravel until you get to a loop, which is in a steep climb to get to the next aid stop. That's 1,300 feet. And then it's just a loop climbing on gravel. This year it was raining, it was horrible when I was there. And then you start going down. When you start going down, there's a big punchy climb, and then the last aid stop, and you've climbed 2,000 feet by that point. Then you go down, then there's two little punchy climbs, and a water aid station, and then in the end you go to Steamboat all on pavement, having climbed about 8,000 feet, and it's 141.9 miles. Be ready to leave your hotel at around 5:30 or so with your bike fully packed and everything that you will need, because people start coming at 5:45, and by 6:30, which is the time at which everyone starts, it is packed. There were about 900 people doing the black course this year. So the race starts with pavement and goes into gravel quickly. Then you have along the way 5 rest stops, as I mentioned. They're very well stocked. Some even have like a little kiddie pool with sponges for you to like drip water on your head. And again, they're very well equipped. The terrain, you go through farms, through pavement, through single track, through gravel. You go in the middle of cow fields. And they're very punchy climbs. I have to say that by mile 80, I was almost done in this race. One thing that is really important for this race is nutrition on the bike. So I took about 20 bars and gels, and I took a little pouch with Gatorade powder for me. Now, to be honest, the rest stops are so well stocked that you don't really need all that much food. I could have done with a lot less. In fact, I had about a little over half of all the bars and gels. They were extra. Now, one thing that is really important is training for this race. I believe I did not train enough. And one of the things that you have to train for a race like this is the time on the bike, because you'll be eating those bars and those gels. And what happened to me at around mile 100, mile 95 or so, is that my gut started to get upset. I didn't want to eat anymore. At some points I even wanted to puke. I did not, but it is because I did not prepare my gut for this. I did not have enough time on the bike. So that you have to consider that. Eat about 60 grams of carbohydrate an hour, but for that you have to train your gut. And sometimes when you're a little bloated, when you think that you're getting full, use gels, not bars, because bars only, they take longer to digest and your stomach is working more time. So I discovered I would leave the gels towards the end of the ride, and that was a good decision in the end. The other 2 items that I think are essential to carry are, like I said earlier, a light jacket that you can put in your back pocket. I used it twice, when it rained and when it was cold coming down from some of the descents. And the other thing is chamois cream. That was really important. I think your butt is going to be very sore at the end of this ride, and you want to give it as much relief as you can. So that is my advice for this race. It's a really fun race. Train for it, be prepared, because by mile 80 you really have to make a mental effort to finish this. And if your nutrition is poor, or your gut is not, if you have an upset gut or whatever, you're not going to enjoy it. And the point of this is enjoying it. The landscapes were fantastic, the race was great. Now, would I do it again? Yes, maybe not the 140 miles though, because like I said, by mile 80 or 90, I was ready to go home, and I didn't see much that was new. But maybe I would. Who knows? I hope these recommendations help other people like me, people that started biking when they were over 45 and would like to try this as a new thing.